Well, I have a surprising thing to say. I was not born on the earth. I was born in a place called the Central Monolith. That is the biggest monolith of all. And it is the only monolith that doesn't duplicate itself constantly. It is a monolith that increases in size constantly. It is the most defended monolith of all. It is the Central Command monolith. Now, my father is the god John Smith. Now, the god John Smith is a Terminator god. Now, he is capable of destroying zillions of worlds in a flash of blue light. They simply cease to exist, and nothing goes to hell at all. That's his speciality. He reassures everyone with his capacity, because it is not destruction or death that is the terror of existence. The terror of existence is going to hell, and my father can prevent zillions of gargantons of people from going to hell by flashing out their worlds. So, my father is also known as the monstrous robot. That is a name that endears him to little children. He occasionally appears in schools with a hammer and says, well, if I can, I will do it, just to reassure them, because children are terrified of going to hell. So, it's like that, you see, because they learn about hell in serious schools. They don't pretend that it doesn't exist at all. Now, Jesus found out about the power of you people. Your power is not small at all. You are the bosses of the Catholic entity. That means that you actually control the rebels on zillions of other planets. You do it all from the Earth. Of course you deny that these other planets exist, but you unconsciously, deliberately control everything in the entire rebellion against nature. Now, Jesus was a test, and he was also a spy, of course, because he had to find out things about you people. But of course he did lose the bet, but it was predicted that he would, because he was allotted just 10,000 secret accomplices. These accomplices were gods and goddesses who were invisible. They were around him while he was being crucified. The cross he carried up the hill actually weighed 20 tons. It was full of lead. It had a special symbol on it, which prevented him from making it float. Because Jesus could do all these things, you see. You people have a lot of contradictions. In one moment you say that Jesus walked on water, then in another moment you say he couldn't do anything at all and that he was a pathetic person. Well, no, Jesus was not arrested by 10 soldiers. He was defeated by an army of 10,000 soldiers. And he was put in prison with 2 robbers who were very bad people indeed and were masochists. They were prepared to die on their crosses just to guarantee that Jesus went to hell on the cross. And Jesus did actually go to hell on the cross, but he was saved. He was saved by the goddess White, who, if you remember from another video of mine, is the wife of God. Now, the goddess White has a thing called the refusal to notice syndrome. Now, a person called Saint Peter had put a kind of curse on Jesus, which meant that it was impossible to save him from hell immediately. But the goddess White had a trick that she could make him not notice that he was in hell. And it actually took 3,500 years to save Jesus from hell. But he didn't notice he was there at all. He did have rather strange feelings for a lot of those 3,500 years. But he managed to live the same comfortably. Now Jesus is out of hell, and he's not very pleased at all. You know, a lot of people talk about the return of Jesus, but why would he return to be chained up, whipped, carry across up a hill and be crucified? There is no explanation for that at all. But anyway, Jesus also did give people good advice. He told them to renounce to having a lot of material possessions, which is good advice because it means you can't be blackmailed. Having lots of material possessions means that you have lots of things that you're attached to and you don't want to lose. You should limit yourselves to the basic necessities if you're living amongst evil people. If you were living among good people, there would be no problem. You could have as many things as you wanted. But living among evil people means if you're going to behave well, then you have to renounce to having things that will lead you into nasty situations in which you will be blackmailed and corrupted. Now, that is what I wanted to say for this video. And I actually met my mother 10 years ago and talked to her for about 3 hours in a bar in Florence. And a hideous thing happened to her a few months later because she couldn't manage to escape from Italy. The power of you people is tremendous. My mother is the most tremendously powerful goddess, the goddess Heather Smith. That is my father, God John Smith's principal wife. And she is tremendously powerful. Of course, my father didn't want her to come here, but she escaped. You see, fathers are a bit more rational. You know, they know that to protect their sons, they may have to remain far away from them, but mothers sometimes can't resist actually meeting their sons. So Heather actually came to meet me, my real mother, and it was the most extraordinary meeting I've ever had in my life, and I really felt her love for me, and I felt it was genuine, and I felt a genuine love for her. And this was the most important thing that happened in my life, meeting my mother.